this time last year, it was right after Friday Night Lights. A lot of big-time recruits for 2023. I remember Emmanuel Pimba was there. Samuel Pimba was there. Will Norman was there. A few other big guys came during this weekend. We pulled a few from this weekend. Not too many that were there, but it was a big recruiting weekend. Going back to when we had Friday Night Lights, we had Connor on. He spoke to Friday Night Lights, being it's going to be more of a futuristic event versus a current event, meaning we're not going to have many current recruits coming to this. I have a feeling that this, barbecue could be transitioning into the same ordeal to where it's more of a future pool than a current pool. Would you agree with that, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, as far as like Friday Night Lights goes, I know that they're going to make changes to that. Of course, we don't know what changes they're going to make, but just looking at just the actual list here, I mean, there's more 2025 guys and 2026 guys than there is 2024 guys. You only got 2 guys from 2024. Wardell Mack, we all know about him, and the DB there, and then Jamari Howard, a kid that, as I said, decommitted from Michigan State, has been decommitted. Thought he was going to come to Florida after that because that's what all the rumors and innuendo and speculation that was going around. Now he's kind of just sat off on his decommitment, and he's visiting this weekend too. So we'll see what happens there. And right now, currently, LJ McCray is visiting right now. That was a surprise.
Yes,
that
breaking news on that one.
That hit the TL there off Twitter. So we'll see what happens with that. But as far as that goes, that's really all the 2024 guys are going to show up. And now, unless obviously could be a surprise in another day or two. They're going to keep adding people to this list as well. Zay Mincy was supposed to show up. Now he's going to Miami. We'll see what happens with that. But, as far as like the recruiting so far this year, especially now with the McCray news, pretty well. I mean, I'm not really worried about Mincy going to Miami. I mean, something could come out of that for them, but I don't know. They also have one of the Florida State players, McCoy, going over there too, or something like that. But more 2025 guys here, man. I don't really want to run down the whole list because there's like 30, 20,
yeah,
25 guys.
Just can you give us a number, a unit versus the names?
I can go through the Florida guys visiting if you want me to. There's a lot of Florida people. Walter S. Clark, top 150 running back from Tampa. Kobe Howard, 4-star wide receiver from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. DJ Pickett, a top 10 safety, one of the
right?
top guys. Yeah, 5-star guy. He's coming from Tampa, Florida. You got a Hilton Stubbs, top 75 safety from Jacksonville, Florida. Jalen Wiggins, top 100 defensive lineman from Tallahassee, Florida. Chris McCorkle from Sarasota, Florida. Not currently ranked yet because it's still 2025. They still got to kind of rank some of these kids out there. And you got some people from like Georgia, Texas, Vero Beach. I mean, Wisconsin. I mean, it's going to be a long list of players from the 2025 class. And then you got a few 2026, and I think they're still kind of adding some. Got Jermaine Bishop from Willis, Texas. He's visiting. James Morrow from Buford High School, right down the street from me. And then Logan Rogers, Tampa, Florida quarterback there for 2026. So, I mean, it's going to be more 2025 heavy than 2026 and 2024. But still, you want to get these kids in from 2025. You want to establish that relationship with them early because that'll help you in the next cycle.
And what's important to note about that is, again, going back to last year, going back to the football games where we had 2024 recruits in there. DJ Lagway was a part of that. Getting those guys early was very important. I think this is kind of what this is showing, is that the barbecue is being used to build that future. And the sooner you're able to get into these guys and talk. Look, UCF is doing a phenomenal job of that right now. They understand that where their bread is in the future. And they're going after 26, 20. I think they can't talk 27, but 26, that's where my brother is. Again, and sometimes my little brother kind of follows through with that. They're heavy into the future, and that's how you have to start. Florida, we don't have that ability. Napier doesn't have the ability kind of almost squash this year and focus on the future. He's got to build all of it at the same time because you know how Florida fans are. We're not very patient, so it's got to be rocking and rolling pretty quickly. But UCF has an advantage more so because, look, they're going to be more patient with Gus out there. So this just tells me that he's getting his ducks aligned, and we've been talking about that throughout this entire offseason, and he even prefaced it during media week of like, look, my to-do list is getting shorter. So I wouldn't panic like you said about the people who aren't going because I don't think the focus is there. And look, the class is in a much healthier place, and I keep knocking. I was going through I was looking at our content from last year at this time. I was like, what did we talk about the week before this? You know what we had? I had 4 or 5 videos of commits happening on this week right here. And I was like, well, no wonder I don't remember what we were doing because shit was popping off left and right. Yeah. And we just don't, we're not in need of that anymore. You know, we're kind of coming down to the end of the wire here with closing in on this class. Now we need some more people. Don't get it twisted, but we're not in that place of we already had that week
right
this summer. So, look, good. It's gonna be fun. I thought about going, but it's gonna be an absolute blazer there. So